Hello YouTube friends, welcome to the Red Parrot channel. I am your host, Mary Ellen. This is an episode of Slow Stitching Sew Saturday on a Sunday because I missed yesterday. And I've missed the last few Saturdays because there have been the World Series and I can only do so much with the time that I have. And baseball World Series games comes once very rarely. So we have catching up and so many things to say. So where do I want to begin? So let's begin here. So you may recall I made this little booklet of all of the projects that I have underway. So blah, 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 turn page, blah, blah, blah. I decided that I needed to sort them in some kind of logical order. So I created garments, embroidery and slow stitching, Jay's gear, which is, there are a lot of textile giveaways like shirts and so forth, and they always make them to fit the largest person, which is going to be an XL male. So all of the S females and also children need to have that much scaled down or adjusted. So I have things that I want to do. There is quilting, there is knitting, spinning, and crochet, and then there's other things, and including costumes. And so you will, the keen eye will notice that I've got the kilt done, and I've got the bumblebee cat costume sorted out because that was Halloween and I needed to sew count them, two seams. Okay, so we've got that. Then I'm still trying to fight on what I want to do and how I want to do it. So I made a little zine last night to be able to figure out what I need to do for Christmas. Hoping I need to figure out some kind of logical order as opposed to just whimsy. So I've got this. I've got extra squares. So I need to drop spin dog fur. So this is dog fur. This is my friend's nephew. So her twin sister's dog. And this is the fur. Phew, streaks. In any event, I suggested when she was here, hey, you know what, you can actually spin non-wool. And so here is an example of this fur spun. And I said, well, what do you want? Do you just want it as string? And she said, well, no. I said, do you want me to make something? Well, maybe. So I suggested that I could make some kind of an ornament. And I said, well, I'm going to need more if you want one for you, one for your sister. And so I have more of that. So I need to comb, spin, and ply. That is this 2-ply? I think this is 2-ply. Yeah, it probably would have been 2-ply because I don't have enough to be able to do chain ply. So I need to do that. So this actually is a priority piece of work. So it needs to be a Christmas present. I am not going to do that here, but it's something that I need to have it out and doing. And I also need to figure out what kind of a crochet thing that I'm going to do. I might just do a granny square and like make a tag or something that has a dog connection to it. I don't know. I'll worry about that when I get this one done. The other thing that I would like to do are finish the hexie tablecloth, going to the same person, bowl cozies, also going to that person, and maybe a couple of other people. So I have 4 things of these that I have on the go. So technically speaking, I know what it is that I want to do. Ha. Problem with my brain is that it gets attracted by things that are not on the list. So one of those things, and you've seen the socks, so that's that sock. And I am making progress on the second sock. So I've got the green ones all done. I don't know if I updated you on that. So I've got the green pair, and we are at the heel flap portion of this sock, which is useful. I'm doing like a few rows a day, just sort of keep me off the streets and out of trouble. So we've got that is knitting. What else do we have? So the Boro coat needs to have, I need to pin the collar. So that should be the goal for this week. I should probably write that down somewhere. So let's, I know that's not really an official sheet. So I need to spin dog fur. I need to pin the Boro coat. I'm gonna have a thought for that. The coat has got a lining as well as the outer, and I just want to pin the collar to the outer and then figure out the lining as a step 2, I think. That may make no sense to anybody but me. Okay. And then granny square. Okay. And then I also need to press collar. Okay. So I enjoy a good nap, and I have 2 hand spun objects. I have a shawl 1 and shawl 2, and neither one of them does a suitable job covering me just enough to have a what I would call a snap. It is not a sleep, it is not a nap, it is a snap. It's somewhere in between. I have a second problem, air quote problem, and that is I have a lot of, and I shall show you, really crummy hand spun. So this is early in my career. This is not a lot. It's thin, it's not consistent, it's not beautiful. It is precious to me for a couple of reasons. One, I made it. A lot of effort going into getting this little ball of yarn. And it is me learning a skill. And so there is intellectual progress and technical progress in here. And I don't want to get rid of it, but it's not good for anything that is going to be high wear. But a comforter or a little blanket thing would be fine. So, story time. I decided, it's like, well, you know what? I don't have Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C, anything to do. I really want to have a blanket. Snap blanket. And then I thought, oh, a Casapinka had like a crocheted comforter, and it was granny squarey, and you had to make all of these pieces. And I didn't like the idea of granny squaring, because you do the thing, it's a small bit, that's super great, And the problem is you have to put them all together. You have to sew them together. And no. So I went looking for something, whatever that is, on the internet. And I started investigating stitches. Like you used to be able to knit like a whole Afghan. I don't want an Afghan, but I want like that kind of an idea. Anyways, I found a stitch called the Moss stitch, M-O-S-S, also called, pleasantly, the linen stitch, which is a chain one, single crochet, chain one, single crochet, chain one, single crochet, forever, never, never. And then the next row, you single crochet in the chain of the previous, and you just go back and forth and back and forth. It's beautiful. And so this is where I'm at. So this is, I think it's 21 inches wide. And I got to 21 inches, kind of just going, okay, what is my shoulder to shoulder-ish, like, body size? And it was that and maybe a little bit more. I just want to be able to pull something over on top of me. So this isn't going to be perfectly blocked. There's going to be some, you can see the edge here where it sort of goes off because this is really, really thin. And then we're back to a thicker fabric. And so it sort of comes out. Maybe we'll fix it in blocking, not sure. Anyways, this is what I have so far. And I'm not gonna lie, I am so enjoying the repetitive nature of this make. It is really, really pleasant. For anybody who is a new crocheter and can't stand the idea of figuring out where your rows end, use a stitch marker. And then I know that in that stitch marker is the last stitch, and that helps a lot with being able to get a nice edge. So that is a project that I did not anticipate having. Oh, I know what's going on there. So this is so thin that I can do this as 2-ply, and it still is a good thickness for this. So this is a lot of messing around and making things fit. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's going to be fine. I don't need it to be perfect. I need it to use this yarn that I have made because I'm not going to make anything with it otherwise. Okay, so I'm going to get that away. So that's that, which is a brand new project that I am obsessed with and that I'm spending an awful lot of time on because it's a very pleasant activity. And it is avoiding all things. Hang on, I might sneeze. Hang on. Whew, okay, that seems a little better. Next thing, oh, hang on, I need to get up and get this. Exhibit A. No, we're probably on Exhibit F or G or H or something by now. This is a, it is a 4-inch, but that's probably going to be 3 inches. That's about a ½ an inch. Yeah, it's about a 3-inch spool. And I bought this at HomeSense for a whole $8. I don't want this velvet thread. I want the spool. And I want the spool because I saw somebody on the internet, can't remember her name, Dottie B, who is doing an Advent scroll. And I went, ooh, I love an Advent calendar. Why don't I do a scroll? Because why not? Because nothing on any of these lists. So I thought that this would be a decent investment. It's $8, and it is $8 not only for the spool, but also for, I think, 10 yards of velvet, which I am on board for. Then I couldn't find the advent calendar material, so you can buy squares, like panels, and make an advent calendar. And I bought one last year, can't find it. Went back to Fabricland, which is where I bought the first one, and said, hey, where are your advent panels? And they said, oh, we're not making them this year. So that was a bummer. Then I went on the internet. This is from Amazon. It is a cross-stitch advent calendar in a matchbox. Produced in Great Britain by Marveling Brothers. Of course it's made in Great Britain. And I say of course because who better to make some embroidery stuff? Oh, okay. Oh. Wow. Fancy, fancy. So we have all of these little advent squares, and we have all of these little advent patterns. That's super fun. Okay. So that's a project, but I ought not do that project quite yet because I have this scroll pattern, which is what we're going to work on today. Very long-winded way of saying I need to hold my little horses. I also found this on the internet, also on Amazon, which is a Royal Craft, serving since 2007, a complete house of block printing stamps. Ah, these are going to be amazing. Beautiful kit. Sheet. We will get to stitching, I promise. 3 QR codes to use these using henna, clay, paper, or fabric. So that's really cool. There's a website. This is a very light sponge, so that when you use this to print, you're printing it on something to allow the stuff to come in. So I am on board with this. I need to stay off the internet though. That's another take-home message. But I really like that as a kit. There. Are we up to date? I think we're up to date. Okay, let's sew. I have not touched this since the last time we were together. And so I need to completely reorient myself to where we are at. So what was I doing? I think I was doing parallel running stitches along the seams. Well, it's not attached. It's 2-ply. Okay. Alrighty. The silence is deafening once I stop talking. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Shoot. Oh, there. Okay, that needs a little bit of untwisting. There we are. Get rid of that. Mort jar. This orange is not a terribly high contrast color. entirely possible. I'm going to have to stop this video again to blow my nose. There we are. Okay. Are we ready? You bet, Eddie. So the other fun bulletin that's happening today is that it's snowing outside. And closely related to that is the concept of I haven't raked all the leaves yet. So it's snowing on top of my leaves. And we have leaf pickup this week. We have 2 leaf pickup opportunities. Okay, let's just go up and down. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Oops. But I did get half of my tulips planted. I have a ridiculous number of them because this spring, the past spring, I did not have anywhere near the show that I wanted. And I was timid, I'm going to say, about planting them. Like I plant like 2 bulbs there, 1 bulb there. And I don't know if you've ever been to Ottawa's Parliament Hill. We plant tulips. It was a gift from Holland for efforts as a result of the World War II, or the Netherlands. So we have a really good show of tulips. And it is a show. It is gardens and gardens and gardens. Fields of tulips. And while I don't want a field of tulips, I want more than like 2. Because the problem with 2 tulips is that the squirrels will come and they'll chew the blooms off of them. And that's so annoying. Rotten little things. So if I plant a lot of them, it means that there's tulips for the squirrels and there's tulips for me. And what I want to do is have a show. So I was able to plant them yesterday. But today, ooh. Oh, that's all right. It's snowing. So I got half them done. And I'm sort of at a lot. I'm hoping that the snow will melt. And also, importantly, that the ground won't freeze. I kind of could have made a better effort yesterday, but I just didn't. Which is fine. Okay, where's the next one? Next one's over there. That's going to be a little bit much to reach. How did I stop any of these? Oh, I did not. Oh, that's fine. Oops. Got caught. I never did get the Boro coat done in time for the World Series, which was what I had intended. I have never been in such a position as to enjoy the World Series like I did this year. And it is absolutely an energy and time I'm going to say it's at the times it takes a lot of time. I don't begrudge it because very rare opportunity. Having said that, once it's all over, it's like, wow, I lost September and October in terms of being able to close gardens, get a hop on some Christmas makes. I finished the kilt, which I think I showed you last time. Did not get a chance to finish the coat, but we're so close. And I just need to get it off the books. And my logical brain says I should not add to that make list until such time as I cross a couple things off. I know that's the right thing to do. I'm not entirely sure that that's what's going to happen, though. Well, I have no idea why my nose is running. I wonder if it's the dog hair. Because my nose is running now. Hang on, be right back. Ready? There we are. I am so grateful for that pause button. What else? Oh, yeah, so here's a thing. Okay, so which way is this going to go? That goes up. Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so there is an event that happens every year in November here in these environs called the Royal Agricultural Winter Fair. It's 2.5 weeks, 21 days. I don't know. It's at least 2 weeks. It's a fair. Agricultural in nature. Horse show, cattle show, pigs, sheeps, just an extravaganza of the agricultural scene. And so my baseball crew, so saddened to not have anything baseball related to do. I said, hey, because I love the Royal Winter Fair. Like, I love it. I could just spend the entire day in the barns smelling barn smells. It's so grounding. Anyways, on the off chance that they were interested, it's like, hey, does anybody want to go? And they're like, yeah, totally, we'll go. So we're going. That's exciting. It has a lot of fiber related events. There is regular sheep shearing, like 3 times a day. And at the end, not that I have been here on multiple occasions and had this experience, they will give little samples of fresh off the sheep wool. And I have a little jar of it over there. And it is my huffing comfort jar, because it just has all of the sheep smells in it. It's just right off the sheep. And so I have it. And so I'm gonna get a little more. It's gonna be very exciting. And then they have dyed yarn and spun yarn, and they have food, and they have I think indigenous displays and of food and traditions and so forth, and it's such a good time. One of the fellows that I work with, I don't know what we were talking about. We were talking about something. Oh, I know. We were food, of course. He was talking about he does a lot of canning, jams, jellies, chilies, and so on and so forth. And I said, well, do you ever compete at the Royal Winter Fair? And he said, well, what's that? And so I gave him all of the information. So you can compete in the Royal Winter Fair in food categories. There's spinning categories. There's a sheep to shawl. There is all of the agricultural competitions like horses, cattle, cavies. I think cavies are rabbits, chickens, etc., etc., etc. I have no livestock. Gracie is not livestock, though she makes enough noise for some. But I have competed in the drop spindle competition, and I have friends that have done the sheep to shawl. And anyway, so I told him, hey, why don't you just, here's the links, you should compete. And not for the purposes of winning necessarily, but of being able to improve your skills, because that essentially is what competition is about at that level. You know, can you learn something? And so anyways, so now he's a regular contributor, competitor, and he's doing decently. So good for him. So I'm interested to see if he's submitted anything and whether or not, how he's placed. And I feel like I need to make this excuse, and it's not really an excuse, it's just where my brain happens to be. My brain cannot cope with it doesn't have enough energy to sustain concentration for 2 hours, which is essentially how long the drop spinning competition is. You get a bunch of fleece, and you have 2 hours to make 15. I'm gonna just do that. Make me feel better. I'm gonna say 15 ounces. That doesn't sound right. You've got 2 hours in any event to create plied fleece. And I have done it for a bunch of years, and then things happened and I couldn't. And I always think to myself, it's like, well, maybe next year. And maybe next year. Because you do need to be well enough to do that. And then, of course, there is all of the shopping. And so the shopping is pretty great because it's supporting agriculture, it's supporting, it's like really good stuff. I get, there's some wild rice that I often get, there's honey, there's, blackberry jams. I think you can buy yarn And then plus everything else under the sun. What was I going to say? It's about shopping. Oh yeah, at the end of the fair, so one of the things that they judge is fleeces, sheep fleece. And you can buy a fleece if you want. Or I think it's an auction, might be an auction. I do not need, and nor would I have the wherewithal to, what do I want to say? It's not manufacture, process a fleece, but it's always beautiful to go and see. So they have 2, 3 fleece or spinning competitions. One is just sort of the on-site live competition, and there's also an Angora rabbit competition that they have. So that's going to happen next week, at some point. So I might be a little late with this. I'd love to show you the my little piece of fleece and anything else that is there that catches my eye. Because you know that there's going to be something fun to catch my eye. One more? No. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Look at us, practically done. Starting to get a feel, I guess. I don't know what that means. It's starting to be compacted, maybe? Is that the word? Oh, look at this. This is going to be... I need new thread. Well, it's still snowing. Gosh darn it. I do wish I had the wherewithal to do all of the errands yesterday. I also got to get snow tires on my car. I feel like this entire winter I'm going to be punished for baseball by just lagging behind. I feel like Christmas is 3 days away, which is not true. Pat, 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 pat. At least with snow, it keeps me out of the shops. I folded that in. All right, well, okay. Okay. And Lord knows I don't need anything. Oh, I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, my stars. Okay, back again. You can hear a small little hum in the background. That is my air purifier on low. There might be just stuff in the air that I'm reacting to, i.e. dog dander. Because that's the only thing that I have messed with, I think. So I've got to bring my hose in. I got it all drained, so that was something. But now I've got to dig it out of the snow. Get the snow off it, and then find some place to put it so that the snow can melt off and become suitable for inside storage. What a mess. I suppose I could do a little bit more like runny stitches, but it seems a little thick in some spots. And there's no rush. I'm interested to do this Advent calendar thing. See how that turns out. Somewhere, and I do mean somewhere, in the Grand Archives, I have a partially finished cross-stitch 12 Days of Christmas. No idea where it is. No idea the degree of completion, except to say that it is on the back end of halfway done, i.e., I am more than halfway done. But how much more than halfway? Not a clue. Okay, so how do I want to get this? Who are you? Oh, you're a foldy over. All right. Oh, that's just such a tight seam. Well, we'll just bash on. That's all there is for it. The other thing that is there at the Royal Winter Fair is a bunch of events. So there's cooking demonstrations and music and celebrities and that kind of stuff. And there's a couple of shows, and one of the shows is Super Dogs, which are trained dogs that can run courses and do tricks and so on and so forth. Sort of like the Westminster dog shows, I guess, but more geared towards entertainment. There's petting zoos too, which is, oh, the petting zoos are so fun. So if you go midweek, you get all the school tours. And this is held in not downtown Toronto, but very, very close. Just If downtown is here, if this is downtown Toronto, the Royal Winter Fair is like right there. It is as good as. It's a location called Exhibition Stadium, in the event that makes any difference to anybody. Anywho, it is absolutely a day trip for a lot of schools that are urban in nature, high urban. So, never been to a farm, never been close to animals, all that kind of stuff. And there's petting zoos. And so you can buy for like, I don't know, $1 or something, some fairly inexpensive amount, a little cup full of food. And these animals are animals. I mean, they understand the gig better than the children do. In any event, it is so much fun to watch urban children have a first encounter with a goat that is food motivated and understands what is happening. The goats are so aggressive, the kids are just like, I remember once I was there and there was just a kid who was completely freaked out, and I said, put some food base of your hand. And like, ah. Anyways, it turned out okay, but it's like, wow, it was a lot of work to get them to trust the process. And the whole time the goat is looking at the pair of us going like, come on, just put the food, give me the food, come on, you can do it, I know it. And the kids are not used to an animal with that kind of insistence. It's not aggression, but they mistake the insistence for aggression. Anyways, it's a good time had by all. And so they rotate the animals. It's like some goats get like, I don't know, maybe half an hour of being in the feeding area, and then they're removed, and then, more hungry ones are rotated through so they don't explode from eating food. And the food is it's a very small amount, and it's all, what do I want to say? Appropriate feed. And that's all you can feed them. Anyways, good times. Ooh, I like the way that one worked. That's a neat pattern. So I am looking forward to going. Here, okay. And how are we gonna be? Which way is this supposed to go? It's supposed to go that way. Okay, let's not worry about that. Let's worry about this. There. And I gotta put you on pause again, because I guess he's gonna sneeze. Hoy. Which way are we going here? Oh, so apparently I'm not doing edges. Did I do any edges here? I did not. Huh. That's insight. My stitching has changed. Look at how wide those are versus this. And this was probably just a like proper running, and this is just an up and downy. Neither here nor there. I'm not going to change anything. Fun to observe. All of these ends are weird. So now that there's no baseball, and there won't be any baseball until probably the beginning of March next year, which is when pitchers and catchers report to spring training, we have to fill that time somehow. And there's the Olympics that's going to be starting February 4th, so that's fun. A scroll Olympics would be fun. Do all the gold medals of your country. That would be a lot. A lot of work. But for me, I watch basketball. And cricket if I can get it on the TV. But I think I need a specialty channel for that. I do not have the wherewithal to do specialty channels, which is fine. Anyway, so basketball. So baseball, you play 162 games in a season. And that means that there is baseball on virtually every single day for May to October. May to the end of September anyways. Ooh, that's just like a little chevron. Basketball does not get played so frequently. It's a much, much rougher sport, and I understand why. It's your body gets really beat up, and you need that time to heal. Having said that, it's like, there's no basketball on? And there is basketball. I mean, let's be fair. There is basketball, but it is not my team. How do I want to do that? I'm going to keep going in this way. Where's the edge? There's the edge. But we may do something different. Or not. Or maybe it's just a thought for the next round. Because I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep putting stitches down until I'm done. So a famous artist said something about art. What did they say, Mary Ellen? Well, let me think about that for a minute. They said something along the lines of art is not finished, it is just abandoned or something. I want to cut that. No, just leave it. It'll be part of the experience in the piece. There. Well, it's tapered off, the snow, which is good news, maybe-ish, kinda. So one of my goals this week is to just not get any more not get any more project ideas. Oh. Shiny thing, shiny new thing, shiny new thing. Look at the shiny thing. On the paper craft side, I have making an advent calendar out of little folded pocket things that somebody on the internet introduced me to. Sharon Hearth. Hearth. Hoerth. And I am absolutely obsessed with folding these. It's just such a pleasant folding paper experience. I love it. There. I think I need to sort out. I've got piles of stuff I am legit serious when I say my life stopped for this stupid baseball. There's floors that need washing. There's piles of stuff that need putting away. And then you're just right on top of Christmas, which is this whole other thing that needs, yeah, I could do one row. Needs attention. We could call it that. I think my original intention for this was to be able to do the outline and then just let the fabric sort of speak for itself if it had language skills. Well, let's try. You feeling lucky? Sure. Oops. there. Oops, not. Went like that. Come on, you nut. And one more. There. Boop. There. Okay. There we are. It's gonna have to do with one knot. I get these are adorable, but they are not particularly functional. They cut, but to hold them is a challenge. Okay, and I need some more. Come on. One. Two. And we're gonna longest Fädchen, foulest Mädchen this. There, okay. There. And I need 2 strands. I think you're supposed to pull them. And I sort of unwind them. I'll try this new method. There's that. Okay. There's one. There's 2, I think. There. Okay. Okay. Oops. How do I want to do this? I want to start here because I want to be able to go kind of in a straight-ish line. Well, this feels relaxing, not gonna lie. Feels like I'm back to a routine, or if not back to it, at least I can foresee of a time where a routine will be present. That's probably what's happening. Wow, these are like teeny tiny stitches. That's fine. It nae matters. It's interesting watching archaeologists do their thing with artifacts, because they make observations about the artifacts and then take those observations and make implications about the maker. For example, it's like, oh, well, they did it this way or that way, which means that they must have been medieval, or, you know, they didn't have this, or they had too much of that, or, you know, this was made in service of this process or that process. And the same thing with watching people unpack garments at like the Victoria and Albert Museum, Costume Institute, and whatnot. It's just interesting to see what they can gather, what they can detect about the make. And often when I am making, I think, oh, if an archaeologist came across this, what would they think? Watching people analyze garments is so interesting to me. Because there's so much, particularly for haute couture, a lot of the gowns are asymmetric. They are not made with what we would call precision, but made to literally measure a human body that is imperfect. And the amount of decoration that goes on to some of them, the amount of fabric manipulation that goes into them, the labor and the expertise that is required is just absolutely extraordinary. Okay. We're gonna have first pass almost done. Oops. Starting to be something. I mean, it always was something, but you know what I mean. And I also like watching archaeologists do the same kind of thing. The way they are able to reconstruct stuff is really interesting. Their detection mechanisms and it's such slow, painstaking work. And we think of slow stitching as like, oh my God, that takes forever. Like, slow stitching is nothing. This is zipping along at light speed comparison to doing some dig excavations where it's just, you know, using a brush or a paintbrush and just moving dust and then photographing it and making notes and, oh, we're at this layer and we're not at that layer yet. And it really all depends on what you're comparing everything to, I suppose. There we are. I've lost my cat somewhere in the house. Like the line in, it's like a what is it, cliche line in a lot of movies is it's quiet, it's too quiet. That's real. That is absolutely real. And I feel like it's quiet, it's too quiet. She might be up to no good. Well, she's not up to no good. She's just perched somewhere observing, or she's curled up and she's asleep. There. Double knotter this one. No rhyme nor reason to why I do one knot versus another, except sometimes one knot is all I can manage because I'm so close to the end of the thread. Which should have an equal and opposite German expression, if you know what I mean. Okay, I'm going to do the top of this one first. Yeah, start here. I need the sun to come out. I don't think it's going to come out for a couple of days. I think there's going to be snow for a while. Such a bummer. I so regret some of my actions of yesterday. It's like, oh, it'll be fine tomorrow. Not like I don't have access to the Weather Channel. This orange is starting to be something like you can see it much better than you could at the beginning. Where's the edge? Here's the edge. Probably can get one more out of it. I gotta find my winter boots. Fine, be that way. Okay, where does it go to? It goes to about there. Where's the edge? There's the edge. You work? Woo, barely. That is right on the edge. Yeah, we're okay. We're getting close to an hour. I feel like we've had a good catch up though. Good catch up, a good little natter. I've got a grip on my well, a partial grip on at least the fabric and sewing side of my life. Which is something. I mean, I will take it every day. There. That goes in there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and back, and then we're going to call that a day. Call it a video anyways. I've got a lot of day left. I gotta go outside. Boo. I'm not really sad about the snow though. I really love the smell of snow. It does something to the air. And I really, really love that. Were we? You're not bad. I'm going to do another teeny tiny. We're big here. Yep. Yep. Come on. Oh, we're gonna have enough left. Oh, look at that. We're nearly at the end. For pass one. I'll take that. I think stitching is kind of like the whole tulip thing. It's like if you got to do a lot of them, and then any one stitch becomes lost in the forest of all of the stitches. And it's only if you have an archaeologist or a textile expert or somebody doing a nose up close to it that anybody notices anything. Okay, there is a lot of extra stuff kicking around here. There. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. That's what I said I was gonna do. I need to these scissors are silly. There. Okay, so let us see what we have now. So it started off big, and then we're getting there. So that'll be fixed. We'll fix that. That's not fine. That's fine. So I only have this little bit left to go before we can do pass number 2. We have all of this kicking out too, which I believe I have been directed, or it has been suggested to me that I do not trim. So let's windy up. Still got to fold it over to get it wound though. And I think the winding of this is going to become easier. because I'm starting to stitch on it. Okay, that's just going to stick out. Whatevs, man. Whatevs. Ooh, this is going to be nice. Yes. Look at that. Ta-da! It's so much neater now that I've started to do the stitching on it. Well, that is all for now, I think. We have caught up. We have done a Sew Saturday on a Sunday. I will attempt to progress as I have suggested in the opening comments. And we'll see what happens between now and next time we see each other, which hopefully is about some time. In the meantime, please take very good care of yourself. Stay out of trouble. Always love you lots, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.